Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Kemet Masai Academy. We are continuing our analysis of some PEP ability test sample questions. So, good evening to everyone. Good evening to those joining me in the chat on YouTube. As usual, in the studio, I have some scholars who will be working through the sample questions with me, and I'm going to invite them now to join me on screen.
Night, miss.
Good night. Welcome. Hi, Milan. Hi, Donnell.
Yeah,
Abriella. Welcome. Jaheem. Welcome.
miss, that is
How is everyone?
some good, miss. Fine, miss.
Okay, great. All right, so let's get right to it. All right, scholars. So here we go. Um, I think most of the questions this evening will be from the verbal reasoning, but we still have a couple of the quantitative reasoning questions left. So we're going to finish up those ones and then go into the verbal reasoning. So we're still being tested on our ability to analyze and interpret data and to draw conclusions. So we are to look at all the information given, right? All of the information given, and we are to check if each statement is supported by the information. All right. So here we have our first question. Abriel, can you see
Yes,
it?
miss.
Can you see the question?
Yes, miss.
All right. I just want you to read what's at the very top and the very bottom twice, please.
Okay, miss. The graph shows the length of some piano strings and the pitch of the sound they produce. Piano key C1 pitch low, D pitch low, E and F medium, G medium, A and B high, C2 high. Use the information above to answer the question.
Okay, read it again, please.
The graph shows the length of some piano strings and the pitch of the sound they produce. Piano key C1, the pitch is low. Piano key D, the pitch is low. E and F medium, G medium, A and B high, C2 high.
So we're to use the information to answer the question. All right. So looking at the diagram, we can see. So there are one, two, three. Is it eight? 8 keys. Yeah, 8 keys, and they're of varying lengths. So C1 is the highest length, and they're telling us if we look at the key over here, C1 has a low pitch. So the diagram shows us that it has is the longest string, the longest key, and it has a low pitch. D also has a good length. It's over what? Over 80. What's the unit for? I can't see the unit properly. But over 85, roughly 85 units, and it also has a low pitch. The shortest key is C2, and if we look at the key over here, it has the highest pitch. So, Milan, can you read the question, please? Jaim,
Miss?
can you read the question twice, please, Jaim?
Okay, Miss. Question 30. Which statement is true? A. The piano key C has the shortest string. B. The piano C. Oh, Miss, can I restart, Miss?
Sure.
Okay, Miss. Question 30. Which statement is true? A. The piano C1 has the shortest string. B. The piano C2 has the longest string. A. The shorter the string, the higher the pitch for the sound. D. The longer the string, the higher the pitch for the sound. Question 30. Which statement is true? A. The piano key C1 has has the shortest string. B. The piano key C2 has the longest string. C. The shorter the string, the higher the pitch of the sound. D. The longer the string, the higher the pitch sound. The pitch of the sound.
All right. So the pitch is how high or how low the sound is. All right. So based on the findings from the table, based on the findings from the table, which one would we go with here? Let's look back quickly at the table. So we have what the long strings. The long strings are low pitch. See that? C and D are the longer strings. They have a low pitch, and A, B, and C2. So C1 and D are long. A, B, and C2 are short, and they have a high pitch. So what can we conclude? Which of these would we go with? Does piano C1 have the shortest string? Abriel, what are you
No,
saying?
miss.
All
Miss,
right.
the answer is C.
So read what C says.
The shorter the string, the higher the pitch of the sound.
All right. So let's confirm. So the short strings have a high pitch. Medium strings, medium pitch. Long strings, low pitch. So we can safely say the answer is C. The shorter the string, the higher the pitch. And this is something you can test out at home. You can have strings of various lengths, tie them tight, but various lengths, and you can plot them and hear the difference in sounds between the longer ones and the shorter ones. All right, so let's go. Milan, you're still not able to hear me? All right, seems that Milan is having problem with her mic. Donnell, could you read for me, please?
Yes, please. Verbal reasoning. An analogy is a word problem that is made up of two pairs of words. To solve the problem, you need to find out the relationship between the first pair of words. The relationship between the first pair of words and the second is the same. Verbal reasoning. An analogy is a word problem that is made up of two pairs of words. To solve the problem, you need to find out the relationship between the first pair of words. The relationship between the first pair of words and the second is the same.
All right. So in the analogy, they are giving you two pairs, right? So that's four words in all. The relationship between the first two words is the same relationship between the next two. So based on what you have figured out about the first two, then you can guess what the missing word in the second pair is. So let's see. Kylie, can you read, please?
Good night, Miss.
Good night.
Number one, Spain is to Europe as Barbados is to A. Asia, B. Africa, C. Caribbean, D. Canada.
Again, please.
Number one, Spain is to Europe as Barbados is to A. Asia, B. Africa, C. Caribbean, D. Canada.
All right. So, what is the relationship between the first two, Spain and Europe? What relationship do those two places have? Anyone? Remember, we first need to identify what is the relationship between the first two pairs, and then we're going to find the relationship between, we're going to find the other missing word using the same relationship. So, what is the connection between Spain and Europe?
Miss,
Go ahead.
Miss, Spain is in Europe.
All right. So, Europe is the region, in this case, the continent, right? But it's the region that Spain is in. So now we need to find the same relationship. Barbados is in which region? We know it's an island, so it's not on a continent, but which region do we associate Barbados?
Miss,
Miss,
I
the
think it's
Caribbean.
Caribbean, man.
All right, so two persons are speaking. Let me hear the names. Who is saying Caribbean?
Miss Abril.
Gabriela and
D, Miss.
Kylie.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, all right, you're both correct. That is the region that Barbados is in. So Spain is in Europe and Barbados is in the Caribbean. Same kind of relationship. And that's what we mean by the analogy type questions in the verbal reasoning section. Because remember, in the PEP ability test, you have different types of questions. We have been looking at the qualitative, quantitative questions that require analysis of charts and tables and comparing figures and so on. Now we're into the verbal reasoning, and the analogy is one of the type of questions that come in the verbal reasoning. All right, Jaim, read please.
Okay. Let me see this.
Question two.
Oh, East Indian is to India. Indian. East Indian is to India as China is to A Europe, B China, C South America, D South North America. Question two.
Go ahead.
Is to Indian.
East India.
East Indian is to India as China is to A Europe, B China, C South America, D North America.
All right. So what's the relationship between East Indian and India?
Miss, I think it's because India is in the East Indian.
The East Indians came original. The East Indians who are in the Caribbean now originally came from India. So using the same relationship, then we're to say the Tainos originally came from where?
Miss,
So
I think it's a South America.
South America. That's correct, Kylie. Originally, the Tainos came from the northern part of South America and they moved up gradually into the Caribbean region from the Lesser Antilles all the way up to the Greater Antilles. Genesis, are you there, Genesis? All right, I have to keep checking because sometimes the students get bumped off. Uh,
Miss,
Amari, go ahead, please.
um, number three. Sweet and sour is to the Chinese as curry and roti is to the dash. Number A British, B African, C Spaniards, D East Indians. Number three. Sweet and sour is to Chinese as curry and roti is to the dash. A British, B African, C Spaniards, D East Indians. Miss, I would say D East Indians.
First of all, what is the relationship between the first two?
It's because the sweet and sour and the Chinese, Miss they made the
They
like the
introduced.
sweet and sour and Miss the curry and the roses, Miss Indians thought about made up
They
the
introduced to the Caribbean. Right.
yes.
Okay. So we in the Caribbean we associate. Do you have another device on, Amari?
No, Miss.
Anybody else have another device on? Could you turn it off so we don't get the All right, so the sweet and sour, or mute yourselves if you're not talking, please. Sweet and sour foods in the Caribbean, we associate that with the Chinese originally. And curried foods, especially curried dal and roti, we associate with the East Indians. Okay, Genesis,
Yes, please.
could you read question 4, please?
I'm coming. Question four. Crop over is the Barbados as carnival is to A. Haiti, B. Cuba, C. Saint Kitts, D. Trinidad. Question four. Cup over is to Barbados as festivals is to
Carnival.
A. Carnival is to A. Haiti, B. Cuba, E. Saint Kitts, B. Trinidad.
What's the relationship between Cup Over and Barbados? What's the connection there between crop over and Barbados? What is crop over? Does anyone know?
Miss, is it a dance?
It's more than a,
Miss is a festival.
it's a festival in Barbados where they celebrate the harvest. They celebrate the end of the planting season, and the crops have come to fruition and they're able to reap the crops. So they celebrate that. All right, so it's a festival. So carnival is a celebration in which island?
Miss, I think it's Trinidad.
Trinidad is correct. Trinidad is, well, there right now you have carnival in other places. No, but originally
Miss is mostly in Trinidad.
yeah, it's originated in Trinidad in the Caribbean. That's not the first place carnival originated globally, but in the Caribbean region, we tend to associate it with Trinidad. But the other islands have taken on to it, and it has now spread. Even here in Jamaica, we have our carnival, right? Never used to have it years ago, but it's become very popular now in many other islands. All right, so success criteria. So this is how we would know if we have been successful in understanding the verbal reasoning questions. If you are able to say, I can tell the relationship between the pairs of words, because remember, that's the first thing we need to identify. We're given two pairs, so we first need to identify what's the relationship or the connection between the first two pairs, the first two words, the first pair. So if you're able to do that, then yeah, you're on the right track. And if you can use the relationship between the first pair of words to tell the relationship between the second pair of words, that's what the analogy type questions are all about. So now we go to the classification type of question. And the definition here, a classification is a grouping of objects based on similarities or a set of rules, right? When you classify things, you're grouping them, grouping the objects or the items or list of words based on the similarities that they share or a set of rules that they abide by. All right. So let's see who has not read yet. Who has not read yet? Who has not read yet? Let me go back to where's Daniel? Daniel gone? Lord, these students keep jumping off. Leave me. All right, let's go back to Kylie.
Yes, Miss.
All right,
Number
Kylie.
5. Which country does not belong to the group? A. Jamaica, B. Trinidad, C. Barbados, D. The Cayman Islands. Number 5. Which country does not belong to the group? A. Jamaica, B. Trinidad, C. Barbados, D. The Cayman Islands.
All right, so it is a classification question. Similarity. So we're given four options. We have to decide what is similar about three of them. What is more, because all four will have something that is similar to them. All four of them will have something that ties them, but one of them stands out and the other three are more closely knit. So looking at these places, all of them are what?
Miss Caribbean Island.
Caribbean islands. Okay. One of them is different from the other three. Or should I say the other three are more similar than one, which is what does not belong to.
Miss, economy.
Who wants to try?
Miss, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Miss also D. No, Miss also B. Miss because Miss Jamaica, Barbados, and Cayman Islands. Miss they're all in the Greater Antilles, but
They're all
Trinidad and
in
Tobago.
where?
Greater
You're
Antilles.
saying Barbados is in the is it? No, it's not.
Miss, I think it's the Cayman Islands.
Why? Explain, Kylie, why you say the Cayman Islands. In the chat, so Devonte is saying the Cayman. Gabriel is saying the learning while I teach. Can you explain what you're saying? Students, I'm still
Miss
getting
I
a
also
feedback.
think
I need that person to turn their mic off or turn your other device off.
Miss is the
Why,
Bahamas.
Amari?
Miss is the Bahamas. Miss, can you hear me?
Bahamas is there. The Bahamas is there.
I mean Barbados. Mrs. Barbados Mrs. have more than one island.
It doesn't actually.
Miss then I say Miss then I say is the Cayman Islands. Miss because Miss the rest of the islands Miss there are only one island, but the Cayman Islands have several different
But
islands, Miss.
remember, it's Trinidad and Tobago, really, you know. Trinidad and Tobago. So the thing with the Cayman Islands is not yet a fully independent nation. It's still partially governed by the United Kingdom, right? It's not. The others are fully fledged nations, independent nations. The Cayman Islands is not a fully independent territory. It's still partially governed by the United Kingdom. So that's what makes it different. Because Amari was saying, well, Cayman Islands has many islands, but Trinidad and Tobago is the nation, and that's two islands, two good sized islands, and some other little islets. All right, so all the persons in the box have one thing in common. Sam Sharp, Alexander Bustamante, George William Gordon, Nanny of the Maroons. All of the persons in the box have one thing in common. Sam Sharp, Alexander Bustamante, George William Gordon, Nanny of the Maroons. What's the one thing they have in common?
Miss they're
Miss,
all national.
I know.
Go ahead. Anybody?
They're all national heroes, Miss.
National hero. So we all know that, right? All national heroes. Sorry. But something is different about one of them. So, Abriel, please read this
Miss
question.
Number 6. Which of the following persons could be included in the box? A. Michael Manley. B. Norman Manley. C. Edward Siaga. D. Louise Bennett. Question 6. Which of the following persons could be included in the box? A. Michael Manley. B. Norman Manley. C. Edward Siaga. D. Louise Bennett.
Okay, who could we put in the box?
Miss I would
Miss, I think it's Norman Manley. The reason why I said Norman Manley is because the rest of them in the box are heroes.
That is correct, Kylie. So, Norman Manley was also a hero. Who was Michael Manley?
Miss, was he one
Michael
of the
Manley was Herman
presidents?
Manley's son.
Who was he in terms of Jamaican politics?
Miss Prime Minister.
He was a prime minister, right? So his dad is a national hero, and his dad was actually the first premier, which is kind of, sort of, almost like prime minister, but we had not gotten independence as yet. His dad was the first premier of Jamaica, but he never became the prime minister. And who was Edward Siaga?
Was he also a prime minister? Miss?
Also a prime minister. Edward Siaga represented the Jamaica Labour Party, and Michael Manley represented the People's National Party. Who was Louise Bennett?
Miss Louise Bennett is an actress and a poetry.
Right? Okay. Poet, actress, folklorist.
Miss she's a singer.
All right, Amari, question 7.
Number 7. Which landforms does not belong to this group? To the group. Number 7. Which landform does not belong to the group? A. Hill. B. Plain. C. Mountain. D. Plateau. A. Hill. Wait. A. Hill. B. Plain. C. Mountain. D. Plateau.
Plateau.
Miss, Plateau. Miss, I would say,
Which one does not belong? Which one is different?
Miss would say B. Plain.
Huh?
Miss B. Plain.
Why?
Miss because Miss the hill, Miss it has like up, and Miss the mountain is also up, and Miss the plateau, Miss that's also like a rock that is also up.
They're highlands.
Yes.
So,
Miss and but plain, Miss a plain is a low flat land.
yes, right. So all four are landforms. Because remember, we said all of them going to have something in common, right? All four of them are landforms. But the hill, mountain, and plateau are highlands. Even though the plateau has a flat area at the top, it's still a highland. The plain is a low land, a low flat land. So that makes it different. So I'm gonna try and switch now to allow some of the others who have been waiting so patiently to come on. Um, you can still wait backstage just in case somebody leaves. You can come back on, right? So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Let me see who is waiting now that I can add. I see Neron, Jair, Milan, who disappeared on me. Hi, Alia. How are you?
Good night, Miss.
Good night, Alia. All right. Okay, so we have good night, Neron. All right. So
Night, Miss.
good night. So let's go. Um, those who are backstage, just stay backstage. Listen to the questions that you can even post your answers, right? All right. So we're at question 8. Neron, please read twice.
Okay, Miss. Question 8. Which terms best describe the following sea, ocean, lake? A. Landmass. B. Landform. C. Wa- wa-
Water bodies.
water bodies. D. Water. E.
Cycle.
Cycle. Question
Again.
number eight. Wait, describe the following ocean. A. Landmass. Water body. Water cycle.
All right, let me read that again because Neron was breaking up. So, question 8 says, which term best describes the following? Sea, ocean, lake. What are those? Are they A, land masses, B, landforms, C, water bodies, or D, water cycle? What are those three things? Who wants to have a go at it? The sea, the ocean, and the lake. What are they?
Water bodies.
That is correct. They are water bodies. So that's sea, water bodies. Okay, Milan, Alia,
Yes, miss.
please read for me.
Last night.
Yes, miss.
Go ahead, Alia, please read.
Okay. Read the sentence in the box, then answer question 9. Each parish capital has a principal office. Number 9. Which of the following would not have a principal office? A. St. Anne's Bay. B. Port Maria. C. Santa Cruz. D. Spanish Town.
And
Read the
Alia, that word
sentence.
is municipal.
What did you
Municipal
say,
office.
miss?
Not principal office, municipal office.
Okay.
Go again, please.
Read the sentence in the box, then answer question 9. Each parish capital has a municipal office. Number 9. Which of the following would not have a municipal office? A. St. Anne's Bay. B. Port Maria. C. Santa Cruz. D. Spanish Town.
Miss,
All right, who wants to answer this question?
Miss, I think it's C. Santa Cruz.
Why C? Why Santa Cruz?
Miss, because it's the only
Town.
thing not a parish capital, Miss.
Okay, so it's a town but not a parish capital. And it did say only the parish capital has a municipal office. So St. Anne's Bay is the parish capital of which parish?
St. Miss.
St. Anne. And Port Maria is the capital of
Portland, Miss.
not Portland.
Portland. Wait.
Port Maria is
St.
capital
Mary.
of
St. Mary, Miss.
Mary. Spanish Town is the capital of
Miss St.
Uh,
Catherine.
St.
St. Catherine. Do you know where Santa Cruz is?
Yes, Miss. In Saint Elizabeth, Miss.
St. Elizabeth, correct. But it's not the capital, right? So it would not have a municipal office. So the answer is C. Genesis, question 10.
Not James.
Genesis gone again, Lord. Okay, Neron, question 10, please.
Okay, Miss Question 10. Uh, Each one does not belong. A. Food. B. Just C. Dance. D. Junk. Question 10. Which one does not belong? A. Food. B. Just C. Dance. D. Junk.
Junkanoo. Junkanoo.
Duncan.
All right, which one does not belong with that group?
Miss A.
A what? What's that A?
Miss A. Food.
Why? Why not?
Yes. B. Dress.
No, I'm
C.
asking
Dance.
why you say food is out. Why?
That's because the rest of them is it's like I don't know how to explain it, Miss, but I don't know how to explain it.
All right. Anybody else want to go?
I think
Which
it's
one is
either
the
Miss. I think it's either A.
those in the chat who are saying food? Tell me why food is out.
Miss, can
Some
you hear
people are
me?
saying Junkanoo is out. Tell me why it's
Can you hear me? Miss?
Amari,
Oh, Miss I said D. John couldn't also. Miss because Miss so food, dress, dance. Miss there like different cultures, different type of cultures.
types of culture. Mhm.
Yes, Miss.
What
Miss but Jung couldn't. Miss it's not a cult. It's not a culture. Well, it's a
is
culture, but it's
it's
not
an
for everyone.
example of one of the types of cultural expression, right? So
Yes,
that would
Miss.
come on. It could come under dance. It could come under festival, probably. So it is an example. The others are main subcategories of culture. Food is a subcategory of culture. Dance is a subcategory of culture. Dress, John,
Music.
music, religion, all of those things. John Connor would be an example of a dance or a celebration. So John Connor would be the odd one out. Kaylee, good night. Can you hear me? Kaylee?
Yes, Miss.
All right, good night. I'm going to ask you to read the question after I read this one. So, success criteria, we should be able to identify the similarities among a group of things and put all the things that are similar together, right? So, remember, when you are doing these exams, they are specifically set. The question, they don't just grab the questions out of the air. They are specifically set to test for specific skills based on how the syllabus is set up. Certain skills you must have, certain competencies you must have, and so the questions are structured to test if you have those skills, right? So in the verbal reasoning, in the classification, we must be able to identify the similarities among a group of things, and we and put those that are similar together, and the one that is different, we should be able to isolate it. That's a skill. All right, Kaylee, can you see what's on the screen?
Yes, miss.
All right, please read loudly for me, Kaylee, and read it twice.
An essential part is absolutely necessary for a very important part for a feature of an object. Process each concept. 11. Which is most important of a mountain? A. Its steep slopes. B. Its high summit. C. It's more than 600 meters high.
Okay, so D is cut off. but I think the answer is there, so we don't have to worry ourselves about that. So read it again, please, Kaylee.
An, an essential part is absolutely necessary or very important part of a feature of an object. Process
Process.
is process or concept is concept 11. Which is the most important feature of a mountain? A. Its steep slopes. B. Its high summit. C. It's more than 600 mi high.
Meters high. Okay. So what's the most important thing when we're defining a mountain? So the essential part type question, where to identify something that is crucial either in the definition of the thing or in the function of the thing. When we're defining a mountain, what's the most important thing we have to look out for?
Miss, miss it, um, miss it is more than 600-meter high.
Yes, that is correct. And by definition, should be more than 600 meters high. Not just that it has a high summit, but it specifically should be more than 600 meters. Because you can look at a hill or even a knoll and say it has a high summit, it's relative, but this is measurable. Kylie, question 11. Oh, okay. I see what's happened. I actually have the entire question. So D was it has many trees, but that definitely doesn't make a mountain, right? So it's C. All right, Kylie, are you there?
Yes, yes, miss.
All right, question
Number
12.
Number 12, which is the essential feature of a river? A. It has a long body of water. B. It has a narrow body of water. C. It flows in a narrow valley. D. It has a flowing body of fresh water. Number 12, which is an essential feature of a river? A. It has a long body of water. B. It has a narrow body of water. C. It flows in a narrow valley. D. It has a flowing body of fresh water.
All right, which one of those is the most important feature to define a river? Without this, there is no river. Think of it that way. Without this feature, you can't say the thing is a river. Which one of those?
I'll say,
Go ahead. Which would you say is the defining
Uh,
feature? Or
I'll say,
Miss, I would say D.
read what these
It has a flowing body of fresh water.
flowing body of. All right, because it doesn't matter. Some rivers are wide, not all rivers are level, right? Some
Yes,
rivers are short, not all of them are deep,
yes,
but
miss.
it must be fresh water that's flowing. It's not that defined as something else, right? It is fresh water,
you
but
are picking up.
it's enclosed space. In case it would be a lake, right? We have different bodies of fresh water, brooks and tributaries, and each of them has a specific function. So the river is a flowing body of fresh water. Okay, Alia, question 13. Alia,
Yes, miss.
question 13.
Okay. Number 13. Which feature must all maps have? A. Title. B. River. This is just more the echo.
Yes, I'm really trying to identify who is causing the echo because it's really irritating. I'm
Oh, Miss
asking
Rosamond,
students
I think.
mute your mics when you're not speaking, please, to reduce that feedback. All right, go ahead, Amari. Sorry, go ahead, Alia.
Yes, Miss. Number 13. Which feature must all maps have? A. Title. B. Rivers. C. Roads. D. Plains. Number
Again, please.
30. Which feature must all maps have? A. Title. B. Rivers. C. Roads. D. Plans.
Planes. Planes.
Planes.
Okay.
Okay. Planes.
All right. So all maps must have what? Do all maps have planes? Do all maps have roads?
Miss, I would say, Miss, they would need a title, Miss.
That is correct. When you have a map, you must put a title. You must put a key. It should have a scale also. Not all maps have rivers and plains. Those will come on the relief map or the physical map, right? A physical map shows you the relief of the land, the landforms, the rivers, the plains, the mountains, the plateaus, all of those. That's a specific type of map. But we also have political maps. We have maps that just show um, let me see which other type. So we have relief, the political maps that show the borders and the capitals and the names of the different countries and their territorial waters. All of that stuff would come under the political map. Um, and we have maps that just show like the climatic types, the vegetation cover, different maps. We have population density maps. So each one has a different focus, but no matter what type of map, it should have a title. It should have a key that tell you what the symbols represent. So definitely the title is important. All right, Amari, question 14.
Okay, Miss. Which is an essential feature of a forest? A. Birds. B. Trees. C. Lizards. D. Flat land. 14. Which is an essential feature of a forest? A. Birds. B. Trees. C. Lizards. D. Flat land. Miss, I would say B. Trees, Miss.
All right, so this is the forest must have trees, a forest of trees, right? So that one was easy. Neron,
Yes, Miss.
number 15, please.
Okay, Miss. Number 15. Which is the most important feature of a
A plane.
a plane? A. It is flat land. B. It as a river. C. It is near the sea. D. It is between two island areas. Number 15. Which is the most important feature of a plane? A. It is flatland. B. It as a river. C. It is near to the sea. D. It is between two island areas.
Okay, what defines a plane? What is the definitive feature of a plane? Does it have to be near the sea?
Miss is A, miss.
What does A say?
It is flat land, miss.
Is
Also
correct.
said,
Plane is flat land. And even more specifically, flat lowland, right? If we want to be even more specific. All right, so we should be able to identify most important or essential feature of landforms or objects, right? So make sure you see the ministry is integrating the subject areas. So what that means, what you learn in social studies, a bit of what you learn in science, even a bit of what you learn in mathematics, your language, all of them might come together in the ability test. It's pulling on the different pieces of information. So you notice we saw a lot of social studies questions, we saw some science questions with the pitch and sound and so on. So make sure that you revise the material that you have done in your social studies, in your science. It's integrated. They're pulling on those and integrating them into the ability test, right? So now we're going to look at sequencing, and sequencing involves arranging events or objects in a logical order. Can be smallest to biggest, can be biggest to smallest, can be chronological order, like date order, it can be numerical order, it can be alphabetical order. Once it is in a logical order, that's a sequence. Kylie, can you see the screen? I know it's very.
Yes, miss, I can.
All right, please read what's on.
Look at the pictures labeled A, B, C, D. Answer question 16. A. Look at the pictures labeled A, B, C, D, and answer question 16. Number
Write the
6.
letter. Yeah, right. What? Write
Write
the.
write the letters in the order in which the events are most likely to occur.
All
C,
right.
C.
So what's happening here though? Can we make out what's happening here? What's in A? Mm,
Miss, I can not see it.
yeah, I'm not sure I can make out what's happening. I know it looks like a land. Um, yeah,
this
the
is
color
top house.
is not so good. So let us pass, right? But just so you have an idea, mute your mics, just so we have an idea.
So said,
These are events that are taking place in a sequence. It looks like a landslide. It looks like some kind of erosion happening in A. B looks like heavy rains, that kind of thing, flooding. So just have an idea of that. It might want you to put it in order. Which event occurred first? Was it the heavy rain, then the landslide, then the erosion, or the heavy rain, then the erosion, then the land? You get a picture, right? That kind of thing you can expect as well. All right. So Kylie, still read this one for me, please.
Okay, miss. Look carefully at the compass and answer question 17. 17. Which is the next sequence? NE, northeast, southeast, southwest. A, west north. B, east north. C, west south. D, northwest. Look carefully at the compass and answer question 17. 17. Which is the next in the sequence? Northeast, southeast, southwest. A, west north, B east north, C west south, D northwest.
All right. So what's the next one?
Miss, I would say D northwest.
Okay. So northeast is in between north and east, right here. This is northeast. So that's NE, northeast. And then, so then we have southeast, which is in between the south and the east. And then we have what? What's the next one?
Southwest.
Southwest, in between the south and the west. So Amari, you're saying the next one should be
Wait, wait. Yes. No,
in
Miss.
between north
Miss, I think it should be. Miss, I changed my mind. Miss, I think it should be A west north.
or you are right the first time too.
A.
We don't say west north. We always start with the north or the south. So we don't say east south or west south. It's always southwest or southeast. We never say west north or east north. It's always northeast or northwest. Okay, so you were right the first time. It is northwest. What made you want to change it to west north?
Miss, because I saw in southwest, Miss. Miss first was the letter S, then the letter W. So Miss, that's why I said maybe in northwest instead of the northwest it would be the first letter which is W, and the second letter which is N.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you have the N, then the E, S, then the E, S, then W. So you're thinking W, then N. Okay, I get your logic, but remember, it's never done that way, right? Always start with either north or south. All right. Alia, can you see?
Yes, miss.
Can you read that for me, please?
Okay. Look at the table and answer question 18. March 1, sunrise. 6:25, sunset. 18:13. March 2, sunrise. 6:24, sunset. 18:14. March 3, sunrise. 6:24, sunset. 18:14. March 4, sunrise. 6:23, sunset. 8 18:15. March 5, sunset, question mark, sunrise, question mark, sunset, question mark.
Okay. So they're telling us for 4 days we see the time that the sun rises and sets. So look at it carefully and see if you can pick up a pattern. Funny. Is the sun rising earlier or later each day?
Miss, for the first day of March, Miss the
Hmm?
sun. Miss, for the first day of March, the sun rise at 6:25 and it set at 6:13, Miss. And it's also on March 4th. It's sunrise 6:23 and it's set at 6:15, Miss. And Miss the
Okay.
2 days, Miss 2 and 3, Miss they're also the same.
All
Miss
right. So
the
answer me. Is it 2 days? It's the same. But generally speaking, is it rising earlier or later?
what you said, Miss?
Is the sun rising earlier or later generally?
Miss Miss a little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier. It's setting earlier or later?
Miss is setting about, yes, miss, about, no, miss a bit later,
A
like
bit
probably
later.
6:30, 6:30
Yeah.
around that.
So from this information, would you say it's getting closer to summer or further away from summer? It's rising earlier
Miss
each
is
day and setting later each day. Is that getting closer to summer or
closer.
closer to summer? Yeah. When we get closer to summer, we have long days. The sun rises earlier each time until it gets to a certain point in June, and then it sets later. So the two missing times, then we should expect that what it will rise. The sunrise would be a little earlier than 6:33, right?
What
Am
is
I
that,
right?
miss?
We're about to choose the sunrise and sunset for day 5. So I'm saying, based on the pattern, should we expect the sunrise on day 5 to be earlier or later than day 4?
Miss earlier.
And should we expect the sunset to be earlier or later?
Miss 1 minute earlier.
Roughly. So let's see. All right, Kaylee, can you repeat this question, please?
Which is next in the sequence? A. 623, B. 623, 18, 12, B. 621, 18, 17, C. 622, 18, 16, D. 622, 18, 12.
Again, please.
Which is next in the sequence? A. 623, 18, 12, B. 621, 18, 17, C. 622, 18, 16, C. 622, 18, 12.
All right, thank you, Kaylee. So we are successful if we are able to arrange the events in a logical sequence. So which of these would be the sunrise and sunset for day 5? Have a quick look again at what it was on days 1, 2, 3, 4. Have a quick look.
Miss, I think it would be A, miss.
So the day 4 is 23 and then 18, 15. So A is what? A says, so you're thinking it will still be 7, and then earlier, the 1812 will be that's not the pattern that it's been following.
But Mr. Sunset, Mr. When it's sunset, it isn't earlier.
Right, the sunset.
Oh yes, Miss. Then I would say, C, miss.
So you would say
Yes, miss.
22, so we know these are these out because B would be a later, so also like A. So B and C has 21, yes. All right, so to C. C has 21. Yeah, I think it's close between B and C, but yeah, I would go with C. With C, I'm saying why couldn't it be better? But B would be kind of pushing it too much. It was taking 2 minutes, and it was really just going by 1 minute each time. So I think we should C, like a math. We have a couple questions left before we wrap up. So this category of questions, mute your mics. Text completion. It involves using the context to determine the best choice of words based on variation in spelling, usage, meaning. So the text completion involves using the context. Context means what's happening in the situation to determine the best choice of words based on variation in spelling, usage, and meaning. All right, Neron, can you see it?
Yes, miss.
All right, go ahead, please.
Read the ex-
Read the extract.
extract below and answer question 19. This contact is made on the 9th day of August in the year 1873 between Pat,
Patrick,
Patrick Long and
Raj, Raj Patel,
Raj Patel, Mr. Raj Patel, Long with
Mr. Long,
Mr. Long with provide food,
clothing,
clothing, and shelter, and in returns, um, Mr.
Patel.
Patel will work on the sugar plantation. Read
Okay,
the,
read the extract.
read the extract below and answer question 19. The contact is
Contract.
contract is made on the 9th, the 19th day of August in the year 1873 between Patrick Long and Ro- Ro-
Raj
Roger
Patel.
Patel. Mr. Long will provide food, clothing, and shelter, and in return, Mr.
Patel.
Patel will work on the sugar plantation.
All right, so this is a contract that was signed between two men in the on the 19th of August, 1873. All right, Mr. Patel. If you're familiar with certain names, you know Patel. That sound like East Indian, that region, Lebanese, those Syrian, those kind of places. Patel, I'm guessing, right? Patrick Long sound like an Englishman. So I'm using that context. We're looking for context clues, right? So one of the clues, 1873, we know that period in our history. This was right after slavery ended, so right after emancipation. So we're thinking of the period of indentureship. And here we have an East Indian and an Englishman signing a contract. The the East Indian or the Asian will come to work on the sugar plantation, and in return he's going to get food, clothes, shelter, maybe a little bit of money, right? In return for his labor. So definitely is indentureship, indentured workers, right? Amari, please read 19.
which of the following is the best meaning for the contract zone? A, a decrease in size. B, a decrease in number. C, an arrangement between two persons. E, a note with names and dates. 19. Which of the following is the best meaning for the contract shown? A decrease in size. B, a decrease in number. C, an agreement between two persons. D, a note with names and dates. Miss, I would say B, C, an agreement between two persons.
Or why not a decrease in size? Doesn't contract mean to decrease in size?
No, miss, no, miss.
Doesn't the word contract doesn't the word contract
But
mean
miss, that's what
to
we
get
talking
smaller, to
about.
decrease in size or number?
Miss,
So
that's
why
not
not here?
what we're talking about.
Isn't that the meaning of contract?
Miss, I know, miss, but miss, the contract that they're talking about, miss, is like the one that miss that you get money from. If you agree to something and you work for it, you get money from it, miss.
Okay. So what made you decide that that's the meaning of contract that you're gonna go with and not the first one?
Miss, because because in the little passage thingy, miss, it says that they came to work and they get something in return. Miss, they get food, shelter, clothing, and
Okay.
yes, miss.
So what you did there is to look at the context clues, right? You looked at the given situation, this particular situation. Because remember, many words have several meanings. And if you're doing, turn off your mics, please. Many words have several meanings. If you're reading a passage and you get a multiple choice question with options to choose, more than likely, they are going to also give you the meanings, some of the other meanings for the word. So you have to think which one of the meanings is being used here within the context of the passage. What are they specifically talking about here? So even though the word contract can mean to get smaller in size or to get smaller in number, that's not the meaning here, because based on the context of the passage is talking about the agreement between Mr. Long and Mr. Patel. So we're going to go with that definition of contract for this specific context. And you have to be very careful, because in the multiple choice, they are going to put at least one of the other meanings for the word. And if you're just thinking generally of what the word means, especially for those students who think they can do multiple choice questions without reading the passage, I've come across students like that. I don't know how they reason logically in their heads that that can or should be done, but they do it. If you're one of those and you just see the question asked for the word, you're going to pick the first meaning that you come across, that you know the word means, that you're going to circle it. And you don't realize that that's not the meaning they're using in this context, in this particular passage. So you have to be very careful to read the passage. All right, Kylie,
Yes, miss.
read what's on the screen, please.
Read the paragraph below and answer question 20. Crop over started in Barbados during slavery to mark the end of the sugar crop. It is celebrated every year from June to August. The celebration includes a
Parade.
parade with music and dancing. There are many private and public events.
Again, please.
Read the paragraph below and answer question 20. Crop over started in Barbados during slavery to mark the end of the sugar crop. It is celebrated every year from June to August. The celebration includes a parade with music and dancing. There are many private and public events.
All right, Alia,
Yes, miss.
please read question 20.
Number 20. Which term best describes the activities in the paragraph? A. Festival. B. Fair. C. Party. D. Parade. Number 20. Which term best describes the activities in the paragraph? A. Festival. B. Fair. C. Party. D. Parade.
All right, so crop over. They're talking about crop over, right? Which one of these describes crop over?
Miss, I think it's the
A parade.
yes, miss.
Um, Anybody else? Do you agree? Do you disagree? So it says crop over started in Barbados during slavery to mark the end of the sugar crop. It is celebrated every year from June to August. The celebration includes a parade with music and dancing, and there are many private and public events. All right. Anybody agrees, disagrees with Kylie? Kylie is saying it's a parade. She says crop over is a
Miss,
parade.
I agree with her.
All right. So
Miss, I
Alia.
definitely agree with her.
All right. So everybody
Festival
agrees.
is like a parade. So,
Yeah, but listen, here's a crucial part of it. Here's a crucial part of it. It says the celebrations include a parade. That means the parade isn't the only thing. It includes the parade along with music and dancing and other events. So it's bigger than just the parade. You see that? If it's saying it includes it, that means it's not just it. It's a parade and other things. So I would more go with festival actually. I would more, it's not limited to just a parade. It's a parade plus dancing and music and all kind of stuff. So I would more go with it's a celebration, it's a festival. All right, Amari.
When Leroy Chang arrived in Jamaica, he was best described as a dash. A. An immigration officer. B. An immigrant. C. A migrant. D. An
Immigrant.
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 21. When Leroy Chang arrived in Jamaica, he was best described
Right.
as dash. A. An immigration officer. B. An immigrant. C. A migrant. D. An immigrant.
All right. Do we know the difference in these terms? Who is an immigration officer?
Miss an officer. Miss an officer that miss that leave his country to go to another country for miss an officer that immigrates for his work.
Who is an immigrant? Who's an immigrant?
Miss a person that leaves from one country to another for a period of time.
All right. You see those three words, the B, C, and D? They are very, very close. Very, very close. So listen to the subtle difference between them. And by the way, the immigration officer is an official who works at a port of entry into a country, whether the airport, the seaport, and sees to it that everybody has their legal documentation that they need to enter, right? So the immigration officer is the official there to make sure that you have your passport, your visa, whatever papers you need. No, a migrant is just anyone who leaves from his or her usual place of abode. Yes, go ahead. Who is that? Abriel? Go ahead. Who is asking or speaking? All right, I'm not hearing. So a migrant just leaves his or her usual place and goes to another place for a period of time. So you can have a migrant within in the region within. When you become an immigrant, turn off your mics, please. When you become an immigrant, you're leaving your country. When you land in the other country where you're going, you're now an immigrant into that country. So just think immigrant leaves, immigrant is when he's entering the other place, right? So Liu Shang, if you look at the name, if you're familiar with different names, which
Excuse
ethnicity would you say?
Miss, I would say he's Chinese, Miss.
Yeah, I would say Chinese.
Wait, Miss,
So
Would that mean that it's the an immigrant, Miss?
Emmy, he's
He,
arriving in Jamaica. He's coming to Jamaica. So in Jamaica, he emigrated from China. He left China. He emigrated with the E, right? But when he's coming into Jamaica here, arriving in Jamaica, he's now an immigrant into Jamaica. It's the same person moving. Do you understand the difference between the terms?
yes, Miss.
It's the same person, the same movement, but he's leaving the place. He's emigrating from his land and immigrating into the new place. So we're here in Jamaica. He's arriving in Jamaica. So he is now an immigrant into Jamaica. All right. And that wraps it up, right? So we are successful. The success criteria, if we can use the context in which a word is used to tell its meaning. And by context, we mean what's happening in that situation, in that passage, in that story, in that chart, in that whatever way the information is being presented is the context. And we have to remember that different words, some words have several meanings, some words have 5, 6, 7 meanings. And you can't just think of the general meaning and say, oh, the word mean this or the word mean that. You have to look at the context that it is used in and to see which of the meanings is being applied at that time. Do you understand?
Yes, Miss.
Right. So the context clues would be things like dates and special mention of events, names, color, anything like that that will add information, specific information to that passage, right? You have to look for your context clues to help you to determine the definition that you're using at that time. All right, I'll see you tomorrow evening at 7.
Okay, Miss. Bye.
Take
Miss,
care.
am I going to retake the test from Tuesday because I was at school?
We'll talk about that.
Okay, Miss.
All right, so see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.